So this is my 50th recording, and I think I walk the long way from my first recording. I definitely feel that I improve my spoken skills, not only the speech itself, but also the way I can use active vocabulary that I have in my memory. And I add additional improvements to my English skills in general. I maybe 2 weeks ago, somewhere about this time, I started to write down the thoughts that I have in English. Usually, I have the notebook where I started to write down the thoughts that are not the original thoughts of mine, but some combinations of thoughts that I have through listening to some audiobooks, reading some books, watching some seminars, and sometimes some thought can pop up just in my mind, and I recall that I read this thought maybe 10 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, and I never recalled it because I didn't have the situation which was suitable for this particular thought. But now I got it, and the thought was quite interesting. So I started to write down these thoughts, and usually I remember the source, the author of this thought. But when I did this stuff in Russian, it was not very motivating because, I didn't progress much just writing down some thoughts that I remembered, that I recalled in Russian. It's like just writing down some seminars or some books, because the actual power of these thoughts is to use them for something in the everyday life, for improving yourself, for creating some habits and other stuff. So I didn't write the thoughts very often, but then I discovered that I can write down these thoughts in English. Like, I have the idea in Russian in my head, but I can translate it using my active vocabulary in English and then write it down. And this way I can improve not only my spoken skills by activating some of the vocabulary that I have in my mind, but my writing skills, which is the fourth part of all the skills for learning any language. Like, you need to read, write, listen, and to speak. And I had only two parts of this skills set, reading and writing, and I kind of improved them during the last 10 years when I started to watch lots of movies in English. But I couldn't start speaking. Well, I tried from time to time, but I didn't get this feeling of speaking, and it was really frustrating, and I just kind of I was pushed back to the starting point, and it took me almost a year of finding the right path in this speaking let's say adventure. And again and again I was pushed back but then at some point I got several advices, and these advices helped me to move forward. But anyway, even going without any advancement, maybe again and again, almost all of this year, I improved my basic grammar, basic vocabulary quite enough to start adding additional vocabulary and use it really correct in the form that I use these words anyway. So it took me 50 recordings to reach this level, and right now I have the possibility to write down the thoughts that I can have in my mind in English. A couple of days ago I had some strange inspiration. It was Saturday, and the thoughts just started to pop up in my mind, and I just wrote them down, and the whole process took me about 6 hours. When I did this all this in the background, kind of. I got up, I wrote for an hour, then I ate, then again I wrote, washed dishes, and wrote again. And after 6 hours of such writing, my mind became quite tired, and the current of these thoughts just stopped. But this was an interesting experience, and I think I can write down from time to time some basic thought from the books that I read right now. Well, and I can do this in English, so it will be the practice of my writing skills, because sometimes I know the right word, the way it is pronounced, but I don't know how I need to write this word really. Well, so right now, 50 recordings later, I am at the stage of improving my English skills by continuing to recording these monologues. Also, I start to talk to myself in English, like when I have some thought, and this thought quite definite in my mind, I try to explain this thought in English, and it took quite a lot of time compared to the time this thought needed to be created in my mind. But this way I have no problems with the source materials for thinking in English. I think I resolved this problem with the topics when a year ago, for the first time, some English-speaking Russian person, Belarusian person, gave me the advice of creating the topics that are interesting for me, that were interesting for me, then kind of learn them by heart, retell them to myself, this way improving my own vocabulary, the smooth of my speech and other stuff. And at that moment I really couldn't find any topic that I can talk about, because I didn't feel like I had enough vocabulary to start talking. Because when I could listen to the most of the animes, could understand them, Twilight, Harry Potter, other stuff, but when I tried to express my own thoughts, maybe the plots of some animes or the chores that I did every day. I had no real vocabulary because, I had some intermediate vocabulary that covered lots of areas that you need to read the books, hear the news, listen to the news and other stuff. But anything else was the special vocabulary, and it was beyond the intermediate area of the vocabulary that you could get from the textbooks like Headway or Navigate. And now I feel like I add more and more this specific vocabulary and other stuff that I can use to express almost every thought that I have. And this is an interesting feeling. Because right now with this foundation, I can go and add new words to my active vocabulary and use them in my speeches later and improve my vocabulary more and more. And I always wanted to find this starting point, but really I couldn't, and now I did. So now at last I go forward in this writing and speaking areas of English language skill. So I had this inspiration about writing down all the thoughts that came into my mind and writing them in English. It was like the way I talk to myself now for this recording, but I didn't need to speak kind of fluently, to write kind of fluently. That was enough for me to formulate the thought and write it down. Well, I had quite a quick current of thoughts, so I didn't think about expressing this sentence. I just tried to be as quick as possible to write down the ideas that I got. So it looked quite kind of familiar to the way I talk to myself, because I had some idea and I talk this idea without preparing, without thinking about what words to use, or sometimes I don't. Well, the interesting thing, I found some book with 500 words, verbs actually, and they are the verbs from Russian, and the book was made by the Americans, for the Americans who learn Russian. And that's a very interesting book, because for each of these 500 verbs there are the examples of Russian sentences that uses this particular Russian word in different contexts. And there are the translations of these Russian sentences into English, and sometimes these translations are very, very different from the basic meanings, the basic translations of the particular verb. Because when the verb is used in this, when the verb is used in its straight, in its straight meaning, we can find 2, 3, maybe 10 English translations for this verb in the dictionary. But when this particular Russian verb is used in some Russian sentence, usually the translation is so different from what you think it can be, and then you use absolutely different verbs or even phrases to express the context of this verb. So what I do with this stuff, I open the sentences for one particular verb in Russian, and then I just got the sentence, got the idea from it. So I can't retell this sentence in Russian. I just got the idea. Yeah, I don't remember the words that were used to express this idea, but just the idea. And then I try to retell this this idea in English. And when I do this stuff, I can express one sentence with several participles in it. I can express it with 2 or 3 simple sentences in English, and this sounds more natural than when for example, when I look at the sentence and I try to translate each word in this sentence one by one, because because this translation does not give the natural way of the ideas in English. Yeah. So the interesting thing about it was that sometimes I can't just remember the English translation for the particular verb, but I'm sure that I know this English verb. When I see or listen to this English verb, I know what is it about. But when I try to translate the idea that was given in Russian into English, I just can't find this connection between the Russian idea and English. So English verb. So the word was жаловаться. And all the sentences with this verb were kind of oriented, or maybe focused, centered, or something with around one straight meaning of this verb. There were no real idioms or different translations in the context. This is just a very simple word, but I couldn't remember its translation. Then after trying to find some sentences in English that could translate the ideas behind this word in synonyms or other stuff, I checked the English translations, and I found out that the word was complain. And as soon as I read this word, I had this pattern sentence in English for me, where I can use this verb, and it's from one of the small talks by Brian Tracy, when he said this phrase, successful people never complain and never explain. Yeah. And I watched this small talk maybe 3 or 5 times, so I really understand and know and have this pattern sentence for this particular English verb, but I didn't have the connection from the Russian idea to this English verb, and now I do. So I think this is a cool way to check what Russian ideas are not connected for me to the active English verbs that I have in my mind. And next, and then reading this book for the verb жди, ждать. The author put some sentence into these examples from the rhyme by Russian poet Simonov. Жди меня, и я вернусь. Только очень жди. So this poem, this rhyme was written in 1941 when the Second World War began for the Soviet Union, and the ordinary Soviet people got into army, were enlisted into army, and they went to fight against the enemy. And this poem was written as what? As the hope for those who went to fight, that there was someone who waited for them at home. Usually these were the wives, and Simonov itself wrote this letter, this poem as the letter to his wife Serova. She was his wife at the time. And the sentence, the poem is really cool, and I like it. Maybe 10 years ago, I recited it in Russian from time to time. Well, because I like the mood of this sentence. It's this is the real mood that I got by watching animes, some special scenes in animes, when they have the combination of the plot of the animation itself, the music, and the voicing of the actors who voice this anime. And this combination of 4 elements gives, for me, very strong emotions on, or maybe about, some animation scenes, and I rewatch them from time to time. For example, I have 2 strong things that that can set my mood sometimes. Attack on the Titan, and these things. One of these scenes is one of these things takes place when they tried to use the power of the Titan, when they discovered that Eren was the Titan, and they wanted him to take, in the form of the Titan, to take the huge boulder, the huge stone, and wanted him to bring this stone to the wall where the armored Titan created the hole through which small Titans were entering the district, and that's why people couldn't live in this particular district. And there was some emotional scene, and at last Eren fought against his psychological problems. He took this huge boulder over his shoulder, and he took it to the wall, and he concealed the hole in the wall. and the combination of the voices of the characters, their facial expressions, the animation of the facial expressions, the music, and the plot itself, it gives really chills even when I rewatch this particular scene 20 times. Yeah, and the same goes with the scene when the armored titan kidnapped Eren, and then the squad pursued the titans, and they fought, and when almost all the squad was to be wiped out, Eren found his hidden power of being not just the Titan, but being the commander Titan. They called him with some particular word, but I don't remember this word. Anyway, when he gives the commands, the Titans around him, except for these intellectual Titans, so these Titans around him follow his commands. And when he and Mikasa were almost eaten by one huge Titan who ate Eren's mother many years ago, he subconsciously, what he did, okay, this is an interesting word, and I'm going to check this word. Maybe he pointed his anger, his hatred at this Titan. He cried that he would kill it, and at this moment the other Titans felt this, like the order, and they rushed forward, and they all fought against this particular Titan, and they killed it. They ate it. And again, when the armored Titan tried to catch Eren again somehow enabled this commandment power, and he ordered the other unintelligent Titans to fight against the armored Titan. And again, the combination of the music, the animation, the voicing, and the idea itself really has a very great impact on me. Yeah, sometimes I can find this type of scenes in the literature when just with the help of the words, the author describe some of the scenes so cool that I have this feeling without music, without voicing, just the books, just the letters, and the picture that I can get in my imagination from the words that the author used. Well, I had this feeling when I read Hunger Games, the first book, almost the whole first book, then the second part of the second book, and some scenes in the third book. And I had such feelings in the first light novel of the Excel World. There were some scenes that got me such feelings, and of course the poems, some of the poems in Russian give me such emotions. That's why in ancient Greece, the speakers, the famous speakers, were considered to be the people gifted by the gods, because with their speech in ancient Greece, the people, the speakers, could win elections, they could become the leaders of the cities. They could lead the army with behind them, or like with them against the enemy, and they could encourage the soldiers to fight and to defeat the enemy. So this is the real power of the word. That's why in Bible, in the John's, if I don't know the word for this, John's part of the New Testament, there is this idea that in the beginning there was a word, and the word was God, and something like that. So the thought, the word, has the power of giving these emotions, giving these feelings, and moving you and changing your psychological state. Like going, the words can pull you down to the bottom, or the words can push you up to the top. That's why let's say Hitler used the words and the special environment, like lots of people in some maybe crowded and enclosed space, and he talk in the evenings, and his I don't know, maybe emotional speeches had a very profound impact on the emotional state of people who listened to him. So this power of the words but in literature we can get these words without the emotional expressing of them. We just read it with our eyes from the book, and these words have this emotional impression on us. I wonder what level of impression the same stories, the same poems have on the people when these people listen to them told by the authors who put his thoughts, his emotions into the text. Because if they could translate the emotions into the text, and the text possessed so much power, how powerful these words pronounced, told by the authors, could be. Anyway, the thing that with which I wanted to start my anniversary 50th episode anniversary recording, I wanted to read from the paper the rhyme that I translated from Russian, from this Simonov's «Жди меня». And what if I had the whole Saturday devoted for 6 hours of Saturday devoted for writing down my thoughts in English, then I had maybe 6 hours of Sunday devoted to creating this rhyme, because some ideas came quite fluently and they were really good. but I wanted to have the finished rhyme. So I struggled to find the rhymes even for those verses, parts of the poem where the ideas didn't come to me naturally, and I struggled to find the right words, and I changed the ideas, even I changed the sentences that I liked, but I couldn't find the right word for them, the right idea in the sentence that should rhyme with this sentence. So I changed both of them after I couldn't find the right stuff. But I can say that I'm quite happy with the result, and I'm not going to spend more time on trying to find more correct words, more profound translation. That's enough for me that I have the whole poem translated. So, and it was just an inspiration, so I can't just say and translate something. No, the inspiration was the force that pushed me to finish the whole poem when the individual lines that came to me just from my mind, like, finished. Yeah, I wrote down them, but to get the rest of the lines, I needed lots of thinking, trying to find the words, trying to find the ideas, and it really was hard, and only this inspiration hold me and helped me to write the whole stuff. Anyway, I think I'll just read this poem, and if the result won't be very cool, I'm going to recite it again. Read it again from this text, from this paper, in this recording. So at some point, maybe at the third repetition, I will get the poem that I want, or maybe it will be just with the first repetition. Anyway, let's go. Like, first I will give you the rhythm of the Russian poem, and then maybe the first verse, and then I'll go with my English translation. Okay. Жди меня, и я вернусь, только очень жди. Жди, когда наводят грусть желтые дожди. Жди, когда снега метут, жди, когда жара. Жди, когда других не ждут, позабыв вчера. It was the beginning of the poem, and now I'll go with the whole translation of mine. Okay. Wait for me to come to you. Wait for me so hard. When you feel completely blue, when all falls apart. Wait for me when it is snow. Wait when it is hot. Wait for me when they don't grow the forget-me-not. Wait when you don't get the news brought from far away. Wait for me when they refuse to send me any prey. Wait for me to come to you, wish no luck for that, who collected all the clues of my being dead. Let my mother and my son think that I am gone. Let my friends and everyone, let them all be wrong. Let them drink the bitter rum for my soul's rest. Wait for me and stay all calm, joining as their guest. Wait for me to come to you from the depth of hell. Tell the others, chosen few, it's my lucky spell. Those who didn't wait for me, cannot understand that your waiting was the key for my safe advent. You can't possibly foresee futures, mine and yours. You could simply wait for me like no one on earth. Like no one on earth. So, I think I failed a little the end of the rhyme, but this was my first reading for the recording, and I felt kind of nervous, and I felt the tension with this reading. And again, with all the respect for my inspiration, some of the parts are quite difficult to tell because I need to find this like bum bum bum. Okay, I used the rhythm of 4 beats in the first line. Wait for me to come to you, and then 3 beats in the second line, like wait for me so hard. And the first line and the third line are always in the rhyme. Yeah, like come to you completely blue. And again, the second line and the fourth line are in rhyme as well, so hard apart. And there are there are 9 these mini sets of lines. Maybe they're called verses. There are 9 verses. Each verse consists of 4 lines. The first and the third lines have the rhyme, and the second and the fourth rhymes have the line. And again, the first and the third rhymes have the beat of 4 have 4 beats, and the second and the fourth lines have 3 beats. And sometimes I just couldn't get the words that have these beats, so I had like this. When I need the first beat, send me any prey. But to do the correct stuff, I needed to before the infinitive. So to send, like T O is missed, like in, let's say, in Byron poems, but the correct grammar remains. So let's go. I have I have about 5 minutes before finishing the this recording, because I have been talking for the last 40 minutes. So I'll just go with this rhyme maybe a couple of times before it will be quite. Anyway, this recording is not for educational purposes or for making it interesting for my potential viewers. It's for practicing my spoken language level. So it's like the rehearsal, yeah. Wait for me to come to you. Wait for me so hard. When you feel completely blue, when all falls apart, when all falls apart. Wait for me when it is snow. Wait when it is snow. Wait when it is hot. Wait for me when they don't grow, they forget me not. Wait when you don't get the news brought from far away. Wait for me when they refuse to send me any prey. And they refuse to send me any prey. Wait for me to come to you, wish no luck for that, who collected all the clues of my being dead. Let my mother and my son think that I am gone. Let my friends and everyone, let them all be wrong. Let them drink the bitter rum for my soul's rest. Wait for me and stay all come, joining as their guest. Wait for me to come to you from the depths of hell. Tell the others, chosen few, it's my lucky spell. Those who didn't wait for me cannot understand that your waiting was the key for my safe advent. You can't possibly foresee futures, mine and yours. You could simply wait for me, like no one on earth. So, this time, okay, it's really hard to try to keep the rhythm of this sentence, and I even need to drink some water, to help my throat. Anyway, now I see that at the beginning of this story, the first 3 verses are quite out of rhythm, because when I wrote them, the rhythm was different, and I was under the inspiration, under this emotions of wow, how it is cool that I translate this, that I have this rhymes in my head. And when I returned, when I struggled through the rest of the verses, through the 6 verses in the end, when I returned back to the first 3 verses, I discovered that they happened to be not very in the style. But really, I don't want to spend more time on creating this stuff. I had the inspiration, I created this stuff. I don't need to try make this perfect, because I can't. I have no enough knowledge, enough words, enough constructions to make this, let's say, to make this first 3 rhymes, first 3 verses as good as they are, as the rest of the verses in the sense of the rhythm. The idea behind these verses is not very well through the whole rhyme, but the rhythm is quite well, and I like the rhythm, and I start the good rhythm from the fourth rhyme, and now I think I will write the next. Well, I will record the next attempt, and I hope this will be the final attempt, because I think that's enough. Maybe in the next video I will repeat this particular rhyme again, trying to sound more poet-like style. Again, what's the problem with this rhyme? The difficult line is when all falls apart, because I think the stress goes with when, then all falls, too many L. I wanted to say something like when the world falls apart, but I need 3 beats, and the second beat is all falls. The world falls have 2 beats in it, and it will be the break in the rhymes, even though in the rhythm, even though the sentence is better. So when all falls apart, Okay, another one. Wait for me. Another one is not very natural, like wait for me when it is snow. I need this snow in the end, but when it starts snow, when it feels hot maybe, when wait for me when it is snow, when wait for me when. Oh, maybe I will find the best solution, but for now that's alright. And another rhyme that I don't like, to send me any prey. Like, send me any prey sounds natural, but to send me, I got something additional to this beat, and well, I need to become accustomed. Accustomed to this rhyme. Anyway, let's go. I think this is the last attempt for today, and with this, let's go. Wait for me to come to you. Wait for me so hard. When you feel completely blue, when all falls apart. Wait for me when it is snow. Wait when it is hot. Wait for me when they don't grow the forget-me-not. Wait when you don't get the news brought from far away. Wait for me when they refuse to send me any prey. Wait for me to come to you. Wish no luck for that who collected all the clues of my being dead. Let my mother and my son think that I am gone. Let my friends and everyone, let them all be wrong. Let them drink the bitter rum for my soul's rest. Wait for me and stay all calm, joining as their guest. Wait for me to come to you from the depth of hell. Tell the others, chosen few, it's my lucky spell. Those who didn't wait for me cannot understand that your waiting was the key for my safe advent. You can't possibly foresee futures, mine and yours. You could simply wait for me, like no one on earth. You can't possibly foresee futures, mine and yours. You could simply wait for me, like no one on earth. Again, you can't possibly foresee futures, mine and yours. You could simply wait for me, like no one on earth. And with this successful finishing of the last verse of this poem, and I like this verse very much, from the Russian original, where they have the same idea about, like, no one else waited for me. You waited for me like no one else did, or you waited for me like no one on earth could. And what I have here, again, this like no one on earth, it's not very natural, because I want to say all the time like no one on earth, but because I need this beautiful line, I will get with this kind of not correct pronunciation of different parts of the speech in one sentence. Anyway, with this with this great note, I finish my anniversary like 50s recording, and from now on I am going to strive for the 100th recording, and it will be interesting to find how far I will advance with my English spoken and written when I reach the 100th video. And the interesting thing about that stuff, that I think I won't try to record a video each day. Maybe I will record like three videos a week, because I need the rest between videos, maybe like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, maybe Saturday. Yeah, so it won't be like the next 50 recordings in next 50 days. It will be more like next 50 recordings in next 100 days. So in 3 months, I think I will reach the next milestone of recording my 100th video. And with that, oh yeah, I got into focus. Goodbye.